Hey guys, Jameson8532 here. So, today, finally, we're looking at Percy. Now, Percy's been in the background of all of these AU engines, just because, I don't know, I think he's a good background character. And as you can see Gordon and Henry off to the side here. You've had Edward in the back there, back here, for a while now, and then I'm just putting James back there, because you've seen him now. So, this is usually how I have everyone set out, except Percy's backed by Thomas, Annie, and Clarabelle. Annie and Clarabelle are only... I don't even know why. That's better. Okay. Percy. So, Percy was made out of the Railway Series Percy. What a shocker. I've made most of these guys out of Railway Series editions, even though most of them didn't look anything like the books. So, yeah. I started off with a shortened Trekmaster 2 chassis. I just kept the piece that put the axles in, and then I built the shell to sort of fit around it on the footplate. The cab is mostly, corrugated solid cardboard. Same with the bunker. Or no, the bunker is a whole separate piece. And then I believe masking tape, I don't know how to word it, but made them the same surface. Yeah. Percy here, I decided to give him blue, again, because it's sort of, all the Northwestern colors. Percy has a lot of boxes on him, so obviously those were colored in light blue, like the others, because I gave them numbers at one point, but I just didn't like that, because I'm still sort of developing this AU. It's just... I didn't like the numbers on them at the moment because I wanted to put some engines at earlier dates, and so I just got rid of most of the numbers except for a few engines. Yeah, the tanks, or boiler too, because you don't really see the boiler. I put a solid piece of cardboard in front, solid piece in back, and wrapped it with like a cereal box type of cardboard. The smoke box is a cereal box type cardboard. The funnel's a straw. This is more cereal box cardboard, and this, I believe, yeah, this is like hot glue. And it looks rather good, actually. So, yeah. And all the boxes are just same method as the tanks here. So, yeah, Percy really does look like the small engine, even with the actual smaller engines like Edward. Edward still kind of looks bigger than him, even if you swap the perspective. Of course, they never define what they mean by big in Thomas, but Percy looks very chubby. That's what makes him look so huge, but his face being so small really helps. Enough of you, Edward. We've seen you already. You should go check that out if you haven't already. Yeah. You may notice a few differences from the Railway Series Percy too. He has the side rods, those are like plastic now. Same thing with the buffers. Both side rods are the plastic color. The buffers are little bits of straws glued onto plastic and then glued onto Percy, of course. I wanted him to have these huge honkin' buffers, because one, it reminds me of a pug, and I don't know about you guys, but pugs are like the iconic shunting engine for me. And then two, I like Percy with like all this huge equipment in front of him and then this cute tiny little face. Like, he looks like he does not belong on that body. Of course, he was given the hooks and brake pipes out of wire. I failed to mention this in Edward, probably just because... Did he do the handrails? I don't remember. It's been a while. The handrails are just wire glued on in one end and then the other end. Just because engines like him and Edward didn't really have 3D, handrails like how James has. Molded ones. They just didn't have that because that parts didn't exist. So I gave them the wire handrails. I tried to weather Percy. I didn't want him weathered too much because I did still want him looking cleanish. Yeah. I gave him yellow lining instead of red, just like Thomas. Because I didn't really want to give him red here because it's, I don't know. I think yellow all over Percy suits him a lot more than the red here and the yellow here. Yeah. His number, originally on his cab side, gone over with light blue, and then the builder's plate here. Cab windows, of course. He's more heavily weathered on the back. Yeah. There's not a whole ton to say about Percy, which is weird, because usually there's something to say about everyone here. The NW, of course, was dark red. Or, no, started out as a light red Posca marker. This color here. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Doesn't say that on here. Okay. And then a dark red over that. Yeah. I know they both look very pinky on camera, but it's what this is. And then I went over it with yellow. I'm sure you can imagine what the yellow one looks like. So, yeah. All the lining was done with the yellow marker, and I didn't even bother retaping the stripes. Because, I mean, they were still 3D enough to where it'd be easier to guide my hand along it than redo the taping entirely. So, yeah, that's Percy. His cute little face here, his nose is gigantic, but he's a nice little smile. Hee hee, you know, cheeky little Percy. Yeah. In the headcanon, I suppose I could talk about that. The headcanon for Percy was that he was originally owned by British Petroleum, BP. Some of you guys in the States heard of it. I'm sure you Brits know about it, so. Yeah, he was originally owned by them in, like, a factory arranging tankers of it, and then, of course, bringing in machinery to make it, yada, 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 you know. And then he was loaned to the Northwestern for a little while Thomas was on overhaul after an incident with a station master's house. We're not going to speak of it, but let's just say he was away for a while. So Percy was loaned doing Thomas's job, arranging trucks at Tidmouth Station, and eventually when Thomas did return, not long later in the year, Percy returned to BP, and he didn't last much long there as they got a bigger pannier tank to do it for them. So Percy was donated back to the Northwestern rather than BP selling it to them, just sort of like, hey, you had this already, so we're just going to give it back to you because he clearly likes it there, you clearly want him there, so here you go. You know, sort of like a gift thing. And it's sort of an agreement. British BP and the Northwestern out of, like, sort of a thanks for giving Percy to them for essentially free. They decided that once they would use BP, like, fuel for the few diesels they had at the time. Imagining this all happens in, like, the 30s. I'm not going to give you too much away, because Percy actually plays a pretty vital role in the series, but now you sort of have an idea of where he comes from. So, yeah. With that, I think that is Percy the Small Engine. It's funny, some of the characters have colors for, like, their extended names. You know, Henry the Green Engine, Edward the Blue Engine. But now with everybody being blue, it's kinda, you know, funny? Different? I don't know. Well, with that, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!